Grenade time! Whoa, bitch! Today, we are diving headfirst into this unholy motherfucker of a game called Crossfire Sierra Squad. So before I start talking about this digital dookie, I should probably go back a bit in time and tell you about my expectations for this game. When the game splattered itself onto Steam, which I check daily for upcoming games, it immediately caught my attention. The trailer, slick. Gameplay videos, on point. I mean, this game looked like it was gonna take its place alongside VR greats like Half-Life Alyx and Into the Radius. Christmas morning excitement, suckers! But damn! Was I in for a rude awakening? Flash forward to August 29th. Lo and behold, a bloody, mostly negative rating. Look at this shit. The comment section might as well have been a horror scene with diarrhea as the main attraction. In general, people complained about controls, boring gameplay, and while I suppose other shit. But me, hell nah, I had waited for this game for a month. I wasn't gonna back down. I needed to prove everybody wrong and have fun with it. So I came back home, bought the game with my hard-earned money, installed it, and prepared myself for the reckoning. Now the game throws some random comfort options at you, which who cares? So the first thing you'll see when you load in is the shooting range. It's a decently made environment with a variety of weapons at your disposal. The graphics of both the weapons and the shooting range look okay, with the only exception being that the textures take their sweet ass time to load. It's not a deal breaker for me, but for someone more particular it might become annoying. Gun models look okay, the environment is good, and character animations are smooth, especially for an early access game. Now hold on a second, motherfucker. Is it an early access game? Let me check.
Oh my god.
Anyway, all of that looked decent, so what went wrong then? Oh, let me tell you. Now let's vent out the piss poor decisions, shall we? The damn gun position in your hand. When this piece of crap dropped, its gun alignment was all kinds of screwed up. You'd think they wanted us to aim for the stars or try some twisted knife stabbing wrist action with the gun. Thank fuck the game gods they threw us a bone by patching this mess quickly, letting you tweak the wrist angle. Now, I'm sitting here and I can mess with the X and Y axis, but where the hell's the Y axis? Some of us are using VR gun stocks, you idiots. It's like they forgot we need the freedom to tweak things right. Nothing grinds my gears more than holding a ghost rifle in VR. I wanna feel it, steady my aim. Get on in, you bozos! The offhand clings to the gun like shit to a shoe. Why? Why is this even a thing? Let me decide when I want to grip the damn rifle. Instead, I get this wonky ass snap that kills the whole vibe. And it's not the only game that does this. Many other games get this mechanic wrong. You always have to fiddle-diddle with the settings, tweak the gun stock just to find that sweet spot. And every game has its own thing, making you recalibrate the whole circus again. Man, fuck this shit. VR gunplay? More like basic ass gunplay. This is a VR game and I want to play it as such. This game gives you limited control over the guns. Now, what do I mean? You can't reload manually. You can eject a magazine and you can pick another one, but you can't cock the gun. That's like the best part of the experience. What about me wanting to knock out an AK rifle's magazine with another magazine and then cock it? No, this game plays the animation for you, essentially doing it for you. Such a significant flaw instantly sucked out all the fun. The shooting itself was okay, except that guns with scopes have a bizarre aiming mechanic. When you press the scope against your face, it teleports you into the scope view. That shit feels completely detached. It felt like playing badminton with a frying pan. Now, just because it's an arcade game doesn't mean that it should be oversimplified. Why create a VR game if you're not gonna use any of VR's best features? Now let's talk about the story and gameplay. I can't say much about the story, it's just some fictional military mumbo-jumbo. As always, the action revolves around the Middle East and Russia. You know, terrorists, Russians, biolabs, and other cliches that should have died out a long time ago because they've been overdone for far too long. The story is probably better than Steven Seagal's movies, but, you know, that's not saying much. In regards to gameplay, there are quite a few things to say, actually, and they won't be nice. So first you have to decide which game mode you want to play, yeah? The game lets you choose from 3 different game modes basically: story campaign, squad missions, and horde mode. Let's start with the story campaign. The first 3 or 4 missions are reminiscent of the early 2000s game Chicken Shoot, a favorite of many moms and dads from back in the day. In these missions, you'll mostly stay in one spot, shooting at enemies running towards you. And you will see this often in this game. Enemies running out of cover, completely exposing themselves. Every goddamn enemy in this game is suicidal. If you choose any difficulty other than realism mode, brace yourself for spongy enemies. The sponginess saps the fun out of using your weapons, turning them into squirt guns that deal almost no damage. In realism mode, enemies go down faster. Usually a few shots will do it, but you will need to stay in cover. Snipers and shotgunners become extremely deadly, but play carefully and it should be a breeze. Later in the game, the action picks up the pace, yet it remains a lackluster shooting spree. The entirety of the gunplay becomes very monotonous. I pretty much had to force-feed myself through the lame-ass story mode. It felt less like shooting and more like playing in a pile of dookie. Other game modes are much the same, except that you can play online and buy guns among other things. It's cool that the game lets you upgrade your guns with various attachments. There's also a feature that allows guns to have special abilities. I haven't unlocked that yet, but it's probably useful in horde mode since it completely kicked my ass. However, the game formula remains unchanged. You sit in one spot and shoot at brain-dead enemies. It really reminds me of those old-school light gun games like Lethal Enforcers, where enemies would run out into the open before shooting at you. They're just like cardboard cutouts in a shooting range, except that they can shoot back. Man, this is funny. Oh shit! Sneaky bastard. Jack Chan. Hey, Ching Chong! Where's my food at? No! Fuck you. Sneaky bastard. Homeless homie is chilling here. I'm running low on credits, dude!
A few moments later.
Oh god. Oh fuck! Squad missions let you play with another motherfucker, although I couldn't find anyone to play with, so I had to do it alone. I beat 2 missions on the hardest difficulty just fine, but in the last one I played, I was ready to hurl my headset out the damn window from the sheer bullshittery. Not all the game's fault, but jeez! Could they have given better cover? Or I don't know, let me crouch or lie down without having a seizure? Why is that so hard to get right? The graphics are pretty decent for a VR game, but sometimes these damn textures don't load right. Or maybe it's just my shitty computer acting up. Anyway, I like how detailed the levels look. Each level has many different objects and its own storytelling. Now, you'll be jumping from hot deserts to snowy mountains, from open spaces to claustrophobic bunkers. So it has a bit of variety in environments, which is good. Now, I really hate when games look blocky, have misaligned, low-res textures, and lack objects in the world. Lucky for us, this isn't one of those games. I know now that at least the department responsible for the graphics has a good quality control. The sound in this game was another thing that didn't make me want to neuter myself. The guns sound punchy and the volume levels are on point. The heavy metal music playing in the background fits the action happening in your goggles quite well. All those guitar solos remind me of cheesy 80s action movies. The voice acting is... okay, I suppose. I can't say much since I couldn't care less, but the fact that it didn't annoy me suggests that it was probably decent. In a nutshell, I didn't feel like tearing my ears out, so that's a win for the sound design, I guess. Okay, so I've got tired of talking about this game already. Time to wrap things up, motherfucker! For now, I can only compare this game to another PC game called Zero Caliber. Both games have a story mode and a shitty one at that, but I suppose these things are subjective, am I right? And I would probably choose Zero Caliber over this because the latter has better gunplay, less spongy enemies and lets you explore more. And now don't get me wrong, motherfucker, that game also has its flaws.
Fuck off. Oh, hell no!
Is this game deserving all the negative reviews on Steam? Well, no, not really. While it's not a masterpiece, I don't think it was marketed as anything other than an arcade shooter. I'm guilty of not researching enough and expecting this game to be something the developers never intended. I think the game, with some tweaks, could be top tier in its genre. But I'm not a big fan of that genre, so I'll wait for another game. I'm just some random motherfucker making videos online. Hit that like and subscribe. See your ass next time. Raul, motherfucker!